Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group. And tonight we're on our education channel, and we're here with the executive director of the Genesis School, Mr. Kevin Foster. Over the last 3 or 4 months, there's been a whole lot of controversy over the Kansas City school district's closing of different schools, and Genesis is on the hit list. And we've invited the executive director to talk about why Genesis should not be one of the schools on that hit list. Welcome to the show, Executive Director Foster.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, Mr. Nelson, and hope I can answer your questions today.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like for you, in your words, tell our audience what's really going on, or what you feel is going on as it relates to the school closing in general, and then specifically to Genesis.
Okay. So I think in general, Kansas City is a school, is a choice city. You have charter schools, you have public schools. I think in general, it's a good reform. It's empowering for parents that they get to be able to choose their school. The concept behind it is competition and parents' choice. When you give parents choice, they'll make the right choices, and good schools will survive, and bad school or schools that parents don't choose will have to either improve or something different will happen. I think that while well-intentioned, it's important that there's a system in place or a regulatory environment to make sure that all communities are served well in that environment, that all choices are respected, and that schools are held accountable for the outcomes that the state sets, particularly public schools, based on standards.
When did you find out that Genesis was on the list of the closing schools?
So we found out specifically that the Missouri Public Charter School Commission, that's who our sponsor is, was going to take this action on December 15th. We've been dealing back and forth with a sponsor. They're a new sponsor to us since January. They became our sponsor in January. They went through a process, and, you know, frankly, we're still kind of in the process of getting to know them and them getting to know us in terms of.
And who might that be?
The Missouri Public Charter Commission is a state agency. It's a board of 7 people that are selected to represent by congressional districts scattered throughout the state. You know, when Genesis first got their charter, we were chartered by UMKC. Genesis is one of the 5 original charter schools here in Kansas City. And the concept, I believe, at that time was a local university that could partner with a group of citizens to serve on a board and make decisions about how well to serve their community, what their idea was around education. Prior to that, Genesis has been an alternative school. Genesis has been around since 1975 in some way, shape, or form, serving community needs, generally a at-risk population. And well, around 2018, University of Missouri Kansas City decided they were no longer going to sponsor charter schools. They were the largest sponsor at the time, quite a few kids in Kansas City. They divested themselves of that oversight for their education. Our school decided, well, we like the university. That's a place that trains teachers. That's a place that does research, and that's a place that can partner with the school to help them use research-based practices to best serve the needs of kids. Well, in December of 2021, as a sanction against University of Missouri, as a sponsor, we were transitioned to the Missouri Public Charter School Commission. The Public Charter School Commission now sponsors 14 of the charter schools in Kansas City.
How do y'all stack up against these other schools with the same population or student population?
Well, student population is hard to define because we all have high learning expectations for all kids. And so we just know for the community that we serve here at the Thornberry Center on 43rd in Cleveland, 84% of our kids live within 3 miles of the school. And we have students who perform well. We have students who leave our doors and go to college preparatory high schools. And then we also have other students who come to our school and maybe have struggled a little bit on their academic journey, or maybe they haven't been successful. We measure ourselves based on our kids growing. Are they getting better every day? And the state has a system actually that you can compare growth. So you can look at how do our kids compare to, how does the growth of our students compare to everyone else? We think that is a wonderful reform. Of the 7 years that the state of Missouri has reported growth, 5 of those 7 years, we were above the 50th percentile. We were above average in growth. And 3 of those years, we actually had exceptional growth, some of the highest growth in the state. We particularly had high growth coming out of COVID. We did that because we actually were in person during COVID. 93% of all of our kids chose in-person learning. We thought that was important. We had families who had barriers to their child being able to learn at home and on a Chromebook, and we thought if we could, we needed to get those kids in school. And so we're very proud of our results in 2021. They showed growth from 2019, pre-COVID levels. And again, when the state measured growth, we had some of the highest growth in the state.
How involved are your students' parents in what's happening with the closing, and what kind of feedback have you gotten from them? And I'm gonna make a personal statement because I moved here in '78, and really right up the street on Sheridan Estates on 51st Street.
Yeah.
And boy, Genesis has been around for a long time, and it's been really, I hate to say this, but it's been serving the Black community, especially the underserved, because I fool around up there at that Boys and Girls Club, and that's perfect for the type of programs and things that I think associated with Genesis. What's happening? Did Genesis have extended day?
Genesis does do extended day. So just because we're here with the Boys and Girls Club, if you attend Genesis, you have free before school and free after school care. Some of our kids arrive here at 6 o'clock in the morning and they leave here at 7 o'clock at night. Some of our students will eat three meals here within our facility: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you mentioned about the community, Carlos, and let me just say that I feel, and I appreciate you having me on here, an incredible responsibility to advocate for the families who go to the school and for the history of the organization. We want to get better at how we serve kids' educational needs every day. We want to be held accountable. We want everybody. We invite community in here all the time. We just want the right to be able to serve, to still be on the landscape, to still have a school here. So you asked about parents. That's what bothers them. They want to know why somebody would come in and say that they don't know better for their child and that their school should be closed. And they want to know where else can they get that same level of service? Where else are they going to get the same type of programming that's still convenient for them within their community?
I think, first of all, two two important factors that you mentioned: the radius in which your population, 3 mile, I think you said.
Yeah, 84% of kids.
Right, right. And what is really key, 6 to 7, where parents have to have 2 and 3 jobs at this point, and no child care, and to be able to have the Boys and Girls Club right there, where you know you're going to get good supervision and what have you. And even more important for, I would think, 50% of those kids, I don't know the numbers, but 3 meals a day is super important, I feel, because I've come from a disadvantaged background and know how important that is. How can some of the viewers that are watching this interview support you?
Well, so in this, I'm going to talk in this specifically, and then just more in general. So right now we're looking for a hearing. This is a legal process. Our organization signed a contract with the commission in July. We've done nothing that violates the contract. But there is a due process that allows us to request a hearing. And ultimately, parents and community members who want the school to exist and be part of the landscape have an opportunity to have their voice heard. We're watching really closely for the posting. Right now, you can be the first that I tell. It looks like it's going to be at the Bluford Library on January 30th at 5:30 p.m. And so the commissioners will make a decision, who will listen to the facts, listen to some of the things I've told you about who we serve and what we do, as well as look at our academic data and look at we posted on our website response to frequently asked questions. They can show up and
give our audience your website address real quick.
Sure. Our address is www.genesisschool.org.
In closing, what would you have to say to MCPSC, the Missouri school system, and what would you have to say to your students and parents?
So I would say to the commission, we look forward to work. We'd like to get through this step and look forward to working with everybody generally who's involved in education, no matter how far away they are from the individual problem. I truly do believe they want good outcomes for kids. We all want kids to learn well, and so we just like an opportunity to be heard, and then let's talk about how do we move forward in a way that best serves the community of kids that are right here. And I'm sorry, what was your other question?
I said, what do you have to say to your parents that are on edge? Because I know I would be on edge if I got a couple of kids or one, because let me say this, spring this on you. Back in, I think it was 90,
yeah,
I subbed at Meservey, right up the street.
Down the street.
Carol Ladd, and I started the Cub Scout program in the Kansas City School District. So I know what it's like that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And I know what it's like those parents, because I used to take the kids camping once a month. The bus would pull up on Friday and we'd bring them back on Saturday. And I had 30 kids. Parents was like, boy, this is giving me a break. And when you have 6 o'clock and 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. supervision, shoot, there's only so many left hours in the day.
Yeah.
So, you have a Herculean task, and I'm, for the record, Cascade Media Group will support you, and we will be at the Bluford Library filming when you have this next meeting.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, my message to parents, and I tell this to them every day, you know, a lot of our parents choose our school because we're small. We have 101 families that make up our 220 kids. They know us personally, and they appreciate that personal level of support. And I tell them all, we have really good board leadership. We have a lot of capacity to advocate for them. I encourage them to advocate for themselves, and I tell them, give us till March. I do think this will resolve itself in a way that serves the community. If it does not work that way, we will work very, very hard to find good solutions for each and every one of them in what is still within the landscape. I definitely tell that to staff. One of the biggest challenges in education right now is staffing, and we have some really quality teachers and individuals who work with our families. We're asking them to first off know that we're going to defend the work that they do every day, because many of them drive by plenty of other schools that they could work at, but they choose to come here and they choose to serve the families that they serve within our school. To give us till March. If that does not work, same thing. We will personally help each and every one of them find what's a good landing, that they don't have to worry about it.
All right. I think that it was a plum pleasing pleasure having you on the show, for one. And as we always say when we close out, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
The program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.